Hey there, welcome to Rapid Report. I'm your host, and today I'm diving into a hot topic. Are Trump's tariffs saving U.S. jobs or screwing consumers? With the new tariffs just rolled out on April 2nd, 2025, the stakes are higher than ever. Let's break it down. First, what's Trump up to? On April 2nd, Trump introduced sweeping tariffs, 25% on Canada and Mexico, 20% on China, and a 10% baseline on all other countries. The White House says this is about reciprocity, matching what other countries charge the U.S., to force fair trade and bring factories back home. The goal? Boost manufacturing, cut the $1.2 trillion trade deficit, and create jobs. Now let's talk about manufacturing. It used to be the backbone of America. Back in 1979, 19.5 million Americans worked in manufacturing. That's nearly a quarter of the workforce. By 2024, that number dropped to just 12 million, or 8%, due to globalization, automation, and trade deals like NAFTA. Trump's team argues that tariffs will reverse this trend by incentivizing companies to build in the U.S. to avoid import taxes. They point to Trump's first term, where steel tariffs led to 5,000 new jobs and billions in investments from companies like Nucor and U.S. Steel. And there's some evidence it could work. A 2024 study cited by the White House claims Trump's first-term tariffs strengthened the U.S. economy by reshoring industries like steel. The White House says these new tariffs will bring engine and drivetrain production back to American soil, especially for automakers. Business leaders, from local firms to global corporations, are reportedly on board, seeing tariffs as a way to drive investment in the U.S. and support working families. But here's the flip side. Consumers might get hit hard. Economists warn these tariffs are a tax hike on Americans. The Tax Foundation estimates the average U.S. household will pay $2,100 more in 2025, with after-tax incomes dropping 2.1%. A Yale Budget Lab study says prices could rise 1.7 to 2.1%, hitting low- and middle-income families the hardest. Everything from avocados to iPhones, cars, and even toys could get pricier. Imagine a $20 Barbie jumping by a few bucks. History backs this up. Trump's first-term tariffs tell a grim story for consumers. In 2018, his 50% tariff on washing machines jacked up prices by $86 per unit, costing Americans $1.5 billion a year. Studies found U.S. consumers bore most of the burden, not foreign producers. Domestic companies like Whirlpool raised prices too, matching their competitors. A 2019 Federal Reserve study even found a net loss in manufacturing jobs. Higher input costs and retaliatory tariffs from China, Canada, and the EU wiped out any gains. And it's not just higher prices. Retaliation is a real threat. Canada, Mexico, and China have already hit back with their own tariffs. In 2018, China's tariffs cost U.S. farmers $20 billion in exports. Think soybeans, pork, and corn. This time, Canada's targeting U.S. fuel and autos, while China's hitting agricultural goods again. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce warns this tit-for-tat could hurt American exporters, especially in rural areas, and make it harder for manufacturers to compete globally. What about the bigger picture? Trump's tariffs could tank the economy. The Tax Foundation predicts a 0.8% GDP drop over the next decade, with imports falling $900 billion in 2025 alone. Goldman Sachs recently upped its recession odds to 35%, citing tariffs as a major risk. If businesses and consumers pull back spending due to uncertainty and higher prices, we could see 2 quarters of negative growth, a textbook recession. The S&P 500 just had its worst quarter in 2.5 years, losing $5 trillion in value since last month. Back to manufacturing. Can tariffs really bring it back? Experts are skeptical. Automation, not trade, has been the biggest driver of job losses. Fewer workers can produce more now. Even if companies reshore, they'll likely use robots, not humans. Plus, Trump's policies clash. His steel tariffs raise costs for automakers, and his mass deportation plans could shrink the labor pool. The National Association of Manufacturers says 75% of its members cite trade uncertainty as their top challenge, stalling new investments. So, protectionism or backfire? Trump's betting Americans will tolerate short-term pain for long-term manufacturing gains, but the data says otherwise. On X, users are split. Some call tariffs a tax on Americans, predicting higher prices, while others see it as a bold move to revive Made in America. Economists like Ha-Joon Chang argue the U.S. industrial base has been gutted for decades. It can't be rebuilt overnight. Meanwhile, global leaders warn of a trade war that could cost the world economy $2.7 trillion in the first year alone. That's all for today on Rapid Report. Are Trump's tariffs a manufacturing savior or a consumer nightmare? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. If you're hooked on global drama, hit that subscribe button and bell for more breaking news. We'll keep you updated on this economic showdown. See you in the next one.